Let's just remember that humans were not always the kings of the earth. Before us came mammals, before them came dinosaurs, and before them came even more crazy things. In the prehistoric world, due to the huge amount of food and oxygen, animals could grow to absurd sizes. Just think of any animal today. Dog, cat, bird, turtle. Their prehistoric counterpart would be 2 times as big, maybe even bigger. Some of the mainstream prehistoric creatures would include the T-Rex, Triceratops, Stegosaurus, Brontosaurus, woolly mammoth, and big cat. Even though dinosaurs were pretty much the kings of the prehistoric world, some appreciation needs to go to some of the more obscure but terrifying extinct animals from back in the day. In this video, I'm going to show off some lesser known extinct creatures that you'll be glad aren't still alive today. Number 5. Quetzalcoatlus. Now you might be wondering, why does this giraffe have wings? Well, I'll tell you, it's not a giraffe. What you're looking at right now is the Quetzalcoatlus. Straight out of the Cretaceous period comes this flying nightmare. If the pterodactyl wasn't scary enough, imagine one that is 3 times as big, and one that can eat something as big as a bear in one gulp. This thing was the biggest creature to ever soar the skies. It was as big as a fighter jet, and to think of that thing flying above you is horrifying. When it was first discovered, some people suggested that it wouldn't be able to fly. It would be too big, and the wings were just to help with landing and stuff. But no, this thing would actually fly around, looking for prey, swallow them whole, and fly back to its nest. If you still don't know the monstrous scale of this beast, just imagine a giraffe, make it a little bigger, add wings, add the mouth of an angry toucan, and boom, there you go. Be very afraid. Number 4. Sarcosuchus. Now you're thinking, Sarcosuchus. Pretty pansy name for a prehistoric creature. Well, it was first discovered by French paleontologists in the Sahara. These are crocodiles and alligators' distant ancestors. They're twice as big as the biggest reptile alive today, the saltwater crocodile. These beasts would stalk the water of the Cretaceous period, preying on anything stupid enough to enter its territory. And since it lived in the Cretaceous period, the same period as the T-Rex and the last guy we talked about, the water wouldn't be safe because it'd be infested with 8-ton crocodiles. The land wouldn't be safe because you'd be chased around by T-Rexes. And you wouldn't even be fine in the air because you'd have to worry about being gobbled up by flying giraffes. These beasts are so huge they would easily be able to swallow a human whole. Also, while pretty much everyone has said this already, these things were known for fighting Tyrannosaurus rexes and winning. Yeah, T-Rex. The thing literally named after being a tyrant. Can't hold its ground against this thing. Enough said. Number 3. Bigfoot. Okay, it isn't actually Bigfoot, but it comes closest to it of any animal. Its name is Gigantopithecus, also known as G. Blacki. I assume the G stands for Gangster because this thing is savage. It lived in the jungles and mountains of modern-day India, China, and Vietnam. And even though it was a vegetarian, it would still strike fear into the hearts of any animal that would see it. It could grow up to 9 feet tall. It's still almost a foot taller than the tallest man that ever lived, Robert Wadlow. While it loved to feast on grass, leaves, and fruits, if anything came close to it, it would certainly not falter to use its huge amount of strength against anything that it felt threatened by. But due to the fact that it's a vegetarian and only lived in the rural forests and mountains, it had no natural predators. While you probably wouldn't be killed by it, seeing a 9-foot tall ape just a few feet away from you would not be a pleasant sight. Number 2. Giant bugs! Ah! As I mentioned before, due to the large amount of food and oxygen, anything that we see today would have a monstrously sized prehistoric counterpart. And unfortunately, this counted for creepy crawlers too. Fortunately, however, they're all dead. And at least we get the tiny ones rather than the prehistoric gargantuan ones. All around you, flying around, would be dragonflies the size of eagles, cockroaches the size of rats, spiders the size of barrels, and millipedes as big as boa constrictors. You thought it might be kind of fun to travel back and see all the cool dinosaurs. Oh wow, look at all the cool dinosaurs and stuff. Look at them go. Wow, they're so cool. And then you feel a little tingling on your legs. You look down and you see a millipede the size of an anaconda. And you say to yourself, nope. Before we get to number 1, time for some honorable mentions. Helicoprion, aka the buzzsaw shark. Edestus. It may sound like the name of your grandma or aunt, but it's really freaky looking and has a nickname of the scissor-toothed shark. Terror birds. Looks like an ostrich, but it's as fast as a cheetah and wants you for dinner. Mosasaurus, Leoplerodon, Plesiosaurus, and Kronosaurus all were considered, but didn't make it. Don't forget that these things are freaking awesome. Essentially just a ridiculously huge snake that can squeeze you like a modern snake squeezes a rat.
Snake's the movement, man. You feel? Why the fuck she's getting so tight, folks? Chris! Ah!
Leviathan, or Leviathan, a bigger version of a sperm whale with super huge chompers, the biggest of almost any animal ever. It was originally going to be the number 2 spot, but I couldn't find enough stuff for it, so. And the last honorable mention I have is pretty much any other prehistoric animal ever. Because the truth is, all of them are scary, from T-Rex to baryonyx, to snakes the size of trucks, to little creepy sea creatures or bugs. All of them are terrifying in their own way. Let's get on to what, in my opinion, is by far the scariest living thing of the prehistoric world. Number 1, Megalodon. Sharks are definitely one of the most common fears around, and while you certainly aren't going to get gobbled up by a shark anytime soon, in my opinion, the fear is justified. These things are killing machines. They have thousands of razor-sharp teeth, they're capable of tearing limbs off in seconds, and the biggest, baddest, and most famous of them all, the great white shark, can grow up to 20 feet long. But what if I told you their prehistoric counterpart would dwarf it? Yeah, I'm talking about the Megalodon. This prehistoric terror was the most powerful predators in history. It can grow up to 18 meters or 60 feet long, which is even bigger than a bus or a bowling lane. And those things are surprisingly long. Not to mention that its mouth would be taller than you and big enough to eat a rhinoceros in one gulp. If rhinos could swim, that is. They were apex predators for their time. They could easily hunt and kill whales, and no one really messed with them. They went extinct about 2 million years ago due to climate change or less food to eat. But 2 million years ago, though. Pretty recently compared to the dinosaurs' 65 million years ago extinction date. This leads some people to believe that they're still out there, lurking below the depths. There have been many reports and sightings over the years, but most can be shrugged off as obviously fake or a misidentification, like a basking shark or a big great white being mistaken for a megalodon. And these things normally hunted at the surface. And we've pretty much explored the entire surface of the ocean, but this doesn't deter megalodon believers. Or, should I say, megalodon truthers. They could swallow a small boat in one bite. Are they still out there? Are you gonna be the megalodon's prey? I'm just kidding, they're all dead now. Sorry, not sorry, Megalodon. I hope you enjoyed this video. In your opinion, what was the scariest one? Are there any scary ones I didn't mention? Please leave them in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.